Morning. So today is a food day here at my house. Hi, I'm Christy. If you're new, welcome to my house, my home, my kitchen. Today I am freeze drying some bananas in our Harvest Right freeze dryer. And then I am putting a turkey on that I picked up yesterday from a meat truck that I purchased wholesale from, which was yesterday's video. And so today I'm going to put that turkey on to roast, and I'm going to hopefully get this batch of bananas run in the Harvest Right. Then I'm going to be able to take some of that meat and do two things with it. I'm going to freeze dry some of the meat just regular, and then I'm going to make some turkey noodle soup to freeze dry after. And then I'm hoping to get all that done today and then put the bones, the leftover bits and pieces of the turkey in the roaster to make a bone broth that I can then freeze dry or do some pressure canning with. So I have some either bones, turkey bone broth or turkey bouillon. So homemade. So that's what I'm doing today. Just making a coffee, getting my Harvest Right trays dried. All right, so normally with bananas, if I am doing them for sale, or if one of my friends wants to buy some bananas, normally what I'll do is I will try to cut them and put them in the freezer right away, or I will dip them in lemon juice to prevent them from browning. Today, this is just bananas for us, so I'm not worried about it. If they start to brown a little bit in the freeze dryer, it's fine. I have the freeze dryer started. It's already cooling down, so I'm gonna quickly get through the trays and put them in right away so they start freezing immediately in the freeze dryer, instead of cleaning out my freezer. That's a big job. I don't want to do that, so let's get to it. Take a swig of coffee and hopefully the turbojets kick on. I normally would wash them too, getting them out without touching after touching the outside. These banana peels are super good for your garden. You can just bury them in your soil in your garden or put them in your compost. Those bananas filled one tray. So however many that was, we got one tray, and we'll have to squish some in, but that's okay. We'll get them in there. One down, 3 to go. I guess it's always a good idea to get a big bowl so you have some place to put your scraps to put in your compost after. Think ahead. So one of the things that I've learned about freeze-dried bananas is that they are actually a really big hit in our house. And so I don't like dehydrated bananas. I don't know what it is. I just never ever have, not even as a kid. So, but freeze-dried bananas, I really like them a lot, and I think maybe it's because they're really sweet. They kind of feel like you're having a treat because bananas are super, super sweet. And also, the texture. The texture is all the difference. Now, when freeze-dried bananas, what they remind me of, like the texture of them, it reminds me of like a Lucky Charms marshmallow. That's kind of the texture. of them. So they're very different. I know lots of people are, they don't want to try freeze-dried bananas because they don't like dehydrated, but dehydrated and freeze-dried are completely different texture, different flavor. The flavor for freeze-dried is definitely more intense. I also like it to be able to add water and mush it up for making banana bread. And instead of putting bananas in the freezer, I find that it is just as effective to reconstitute the bananas that are freeze-dried for exactly the measure you need, and mush it up to make your banana bread or your muffins and stuff like that. So there's some efficiency kind of thing that I find it more efficient to use freeze-dried bananas. I don't want to use all my freezer space for old bananas. And you know how that goes, they get lost. So, and freeze-dried bananas, they have more than one purpose. You can eat them as a snack, put them in your purse for purse food, put them in your kids' lunches. Even the husband takes them to work and actually shares with the guys in his shop. So they are definitely more than a one-hit wonder. A banana that you put in the freezer to have the intention to go and make banana bread with it after, it only has one purpose. You can either pull it out for a smoothie, or you can, actually follow through with making your banana bread. But that's why I love freeze drying bananas, because it's so much more practical. Snacks, smoothies, and banana bread, all the things. It's just so much more efficient for me in my kitchen, in my home with my family. So that's my take on it. A freeze-dried banana, what really drew me into thinking about freeze-drying them instead of freezing them is that a freeze-dried banana will keep, if you properly store it in an airtight container, like a Mylar bag, you can store a freeze-dried banana for up to 25 years. Whereas in the freezer, they do kind of have they have a good run for a little while, and then you got to use them or throw them away. And, so that was the other factor to make freezer space in my freezer for valuable real estate in the freezer. As you know, when you have, when you're raising your own food or growing your own food or living a lifestyle where you are buying in bulk, you need that freezer space for things like meat or garden harvest. It's more practical for us because, again, I don't have to freeze it and use it up within a certain day. I have 25 years to get my shit together. Okay, I'll just check and make sure this is freezing. I just put all of the trays of bananas into the harvest right. So we'll just make sure it is working, and looks like it is. Okay, so it's freezing. The temperature is 40 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm just gonna do a valve check. It's all good. So should be able to come back in a little bit, and it should be all done and ready to package up into Mylar bags and then move on to the next thing. Okay, turkey. Turkey's next. So this turkey, I picked it up yesterday. It is thawed out and ready to roast. It's a 17.45 pound turkey. So let's get her done. go ahead and let that cook for approximately 4 to 4.5 hours at 350. And I'll just check it periodically as we go and see how it does. I might have to turn the roaster down in a little bit, but we'll take some sneak peeks and see how it's doing. I forgot to mention I added a quart of water into the bottom of the roaster. I actually had videoed it, but something happened to my video and it didn't actually video when I thought it was gonna video. So I'm just gonna try to get some fluid in here. One thing I do not own is a turkey baster, and you know what? I probably should, because I probably use it more than I think I would. So the bird's been roasting for about an hour, just over an hour. It looks like the color is looking really nice. What I like to do is I like to turn it down to 350. Look at how dirty oh my goodness. I should have wiped it. Oh, that's not 325, that's 300. I should pay attention. So I like to turn it to 325. And so I'm just gonna roast it for probably a couple more hours and just keep basting it. But yeah, that looks good. I don't have to roast it as long because it's not stuffed. And it's a 17-pound bird, so it should take about 4 hours. So yeah, I'll just let it keep doing its thing. So I just came in from doing chores. It's 4 o'clock right now. The sun is just going down, starting to go down. And I decided I'm going to make some buns to go with the turkey so that Tyson and I can have turkey sandwiches with salad tonight for supper. And then I will be able to allow the turkey to cool down so I can slice it up for freeze drying or shredding it up for freeze drying. And then I also can let it cool down so I can refrigerate it and get started on making soup tomorrow, because I just ran out of day. I got started way later and I had a few disruptions today. So I'm going to just call it a good day for doing my soup project and a lot of the other food preservation. The bananas are gonna be till tomorrow for sure. So tomorrow morning I'll start up a new vlog and show you the progress of that. However, I can show you what the freeze-dried bananas do look like, and I can show you what I'm gonna do for buns, and I'll even share my recipe with you in the link, so you'll be able to get the recipe for these. But I'm gonna show you what the bananas will look like. So this is what's left of the bananas that I did last round. I did a whole freeze dryer full of bananas the last time, and the guys ate them all. So this is what they look like when they're done. They look pretty well the same as they went in. The texture, it doesn't wanna, yeah, the texture is pretty good. So that's the bananas. But for now, I'm going to do some buns. So I'll just it'll be a little, not really a tutorial or anything like that, but it'll just show you what I'm doing, and you can find my recipe for the buns. I'll tell you, these buns were inspired by a recipe by my Aunt Irma. My Aunt Irma, there's something floating. My Aunt Irma wrote this cookbook, and it was, Hannah's Heritage is a cookbook based on my grandmother, Hannah. That's my grandma, Hannah. This is a book based on her recipes. There's a really big history. My family has a huge story, so it's really interesting. But that's where the recipe was inspired from. And so I will share the recipe, my version of the recipe. I don't know where you can get these cookbooks. I don't know if there's still any on the market, but it's just where the original one come from. And I don't want to claim to be my original recipe, because it's not. It actually come from my grandmother, Hannah, who my Aunt Irma had then put her spin on it, and then I put my own spin on it. And so yeah, my never fail buns, or my Aunt Irma's never fail buns are my red hard wheat bun recipe that I will link below. So yeah, so anyway, if you want to tune in for the buns, just keep watching. 165 Fahrenheit is done, so 191 I think is done. Okay. I'm just gonna shut it off and I'm gonna let it rest. So now whatever's left on this turkey, I'm going to use it to make a bone broth, chicken stock, or sorry, turkey stock is what I'm making. So I'm just gonna fill the roaster up, go get some onions and some celery and different things and put it in here to, and add some apple cider vinegar, and we'll get it cooking overnight. So we will have a really nice bone broth tomorrow to can up, or for me to freeze dry and make bouillon. So I have a bunch of carrots that were frozen from my garden still, and I'm gonna add those in. Some baby carrots from the garden. Some of them are still, they have tops on them still, but that's okay because there's lots of nutrition. Yeah, even though these were frozen, they're still really good. All right. These are some of my onions still from the garden. I'm gonna put them in, peel and all. I just like having them. You wanna make sure there's all the dirt and stuff is off of them before you put them in if you're making a bone broth like I am. It's a good way to use up a lot of garden, like small onions and odds and ends. Add some apple cider vinegar. Well, this vlog has definitely got really, really long, and I really appreciate if you've made it this far. I will be doing the rest of this food preservation in another video. Because these jobs take several days, it's hard for me to keep up with. So I'm just gonna do the post today of the work I did in this day, and then I will follow up with the next day's work of how I'm doing my food preservation. So please do follow along. And if you're interested, please look for the playlist called Food Preservation. I will make sure to keep linking videos into that playlist so you don't miss any. I know I post about a lot of different things, but hopefully you'll be able to find it all in one spot. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.